So I just got back from a few days of riding with a friend in New Mexico. Just checked into my hotel room. I'm in Canton, Ohio, with a day of teaching tomorrow. Following that, I head to Pennsylvania for a weekend clinic that I'm going to be teaching. But I wanted to share with you some thoughts about a conversation that I had with my friend Zach out there in New Mexico while we were riding. Now, Zach's a pretty good hand. If you know anything about traditional Western bridle horses, he's got a horse right now that's riding pretty well in the two-rein, and he's playing around with him straight up in the bridle as well. So again, if you know anything about the traditional bridle horse process, the horse is pretty far along. He's got a pretty nice education, but some frustrations that have been coming up with Zach is this idea of a soft feel versus the idea of collection. Now, there's a lot of clinicians out there that seem to always talk about, oh, you're getting a soft feel, someday you're going to call that collection. And, Zach's getting pretty frustrated with that idea. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him, because they're two totally separate things. A soft feel is not collection. That's like saying that a headset is collection, and we know that that's not the case. Now, of course, the difference between a headset and a soft feel idea, at least in theory, is the difference between the softness and the lightness that the horse brings into your hands versus just kind of banging him and pulling him into a headset idea. And of course, we don't want to be doing that. But so what I want to talk about is the difference between collection and soft feel, because they are not one in the same. And it can be really frustrating for riders to be riding for years, trying to achieve this idea of soft feel, hoping that someday it's just going to magically turn into collection. It's not going to happen that way. The idea of a soft feel is simply that the horse softens to the contact. To be honest with you, we can overdo that. The horse can get so soft to the contact that they start evading the bridle and coming behind the hand. We know this as roll-cure if it's forced, okay? But you can have what we would think of as psychological roll-cure, where you're not really pulling him and muscling him back there, but he's learned to evade and go into that idea of hyperflexion, sort of as an excessive soft feel. So we got to be really careful with that. The idea of collection is that the horse is bearing more weight on the haunches, and that carries through forward to the front of the horse, where he's softly accepting contact, ideally. Do you have to have a soft feel for collection? No, you don't. As much as we would want it, or at least in the kind of horsemanship that I'm thinking of and the dressage that I'm talking about, we would want that soft feel with the collection. But you can be really pulling and hauling on a horse with your hands and have collection. You can also be hauling on him with your hands and not have collection. Just the same as you could have a horse in collection with a soft feel, you could also have a horse with a soft feel that is very far from collection. So it's important that we understand that having a soft feel and having collection are two totally different things. I don't care what anybody's telling you that a soft feel, someday you'll call that collection. That's not the truth. Maybe someday you'll carry that into collection, but they're two totally different things. And to be honest with you, it could be kind of dangerous to your horse's long-term soundness to just be thinking soft feel, without actually engaging the horse. Soft feel is thinking from the front to the back. Collection is riding the horse from the back to the front. If we're only concerned with softening his face, he's going to eventually end up heavier and heavier on his forehand, unless he has a rare tendency to want to be loading on those haunches anyway. When we're thinking of increasing the impulsion in the horse, adding energy, helping to shift more weight to the hindquarters, that's when we're starting to talk about collection. Again, can you have collection with a soft feel? Absolutely. That's what I'm after. I'm hoping that that's what you're after. But is soft feel always present in collection? No, absolutely not. Is collection always present when there's a soft feel? No. more often than not, with what we're seeing these days, that's not the case. We see plenty of horses out there giving a soft feel, being heavy on the forehand, which of course we know is the opposite of collection. All right. So when we're talking about collection, it's important that you understand big difference between collection and soft feel. So I'm not trying to knock any of the clinicians or trainers or horsemen out there that are talking about soft feel and saying eventually that will become collection. There seems to be a piece in there that they're just not discussing, or maybe people are just missing it. I don't know, because I'm out teaching all the time. I'm on the road. The calendar has me on the road 340 days or something this year teaching. So I don't get the chance to go to everybody's clinics and see what they're talking about and listen to them firsthand. But I know I've heard plenty, and I know I've ridden with plenty of folks that seem rather disgusted or frustrated. We'll just say frustrated, because they've been chasing this idea of a soft feel, wondering when it's going to become collection. And, the fact is, it's not going to work that way. The horse has to be motivated. There has to be impulsion. He has to have the energy necessary for the weight to shift to the hindquarters in order for us to achieve collection. So again, the idea of soft feel becoming collection, that's a backwards thinking. That's thinking from the front to the back with hopes that we'll someday get to this elusive place that we call collection. What we need to be concentrating on is helping the horse through the haunches to bear more weight by increasing the impulsion, stepping the hindquarters underneath the body, thereby lightening the shoulders, which is more of what we refer to as true collection. It's hopefully not a pulling match to get the horse into that collection. But again, we can't just be chasing soft feel as a means to achieve collection. It's not going to happen.